what happened with Helldivers 2. We'll talk about it in a bit. I'm going to try to get a refund for it. Not because I would... I played 6 hours of the game. Not because I would usually refund under normal circumstances, but under the circumstances that are currently happening, I think they're pulling a scamazzy move, and I'm actually going to apply for the refund right now, if I can. Let's see if it's possible. You never know. All right. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do to refund my Helldivers 2, and we'll see if it works. The game will become unplayable for me. I buy games on Steam to play them on Steam. I don't have, nor do I want, a PSN account. They are doing the old switcheroo where I buy their game because it's available on Steam, and then shortly after purchase telling me that now I have to make an account on PlayStation Network just to play their game. 2 issues. 1, I don't want to make a PSN account. I bought it on Steam to play it on Steam as it was introduced. And with this switch, it's no longer the game I paid money for. It's a new version I'm not interested in playing. I want my money back. 2, there are like 30 countries that can't make a PSN account due to country restrictions. I have friends in those countries. After the update, all of a sudden, any friend in those countries I have is not able to play multiplayer with me anymore, as they can't make a PSN account. So as a second problem, the game is cutting off friendships I have. I want my money back. All right, too long, didn't read. They sold me one thing, and now they're changing it and doing a 180. I paid for a live service game that I can enjoy for 100 plus hours. I didn't pay for a... I paid for a... Not live service. Maybe it's not considered an online multiplayer game. I can spend 100. I didn't pay for a game that will allow me to play online for a month, then change their entire, then do a 180 and remove me from the multiplayer pool. It's fine enough. You need to make sure that you want to make your money back. You make it clear for them. I want my money back. Steam is the greatest gaming platform on earth where I can pay for, download, and play a game, and if the game is not as advertised, get my money back guaranteed. This game is trying to exploit this loop where they actually are good on download. Let me play as I want for the first week and then sneakily change things shortly after. This is unethical behavior. That's right. That's right. I need more. I need a third option. Two is an amateur number. Whenever you give multiple reasons, 2 is a very amateur number. 3, it's either 1 good reason or 3 good reasons. Never go for 2. I'm not gonna ask ChatGPT. You guys are chat. You're chat grappler T. Because the game is trying to force me to do things I refuse to do that are entirely game unrelated, I will lose all access to this game and be unable to play it. I've only played it like 6 hours. This is a scam for a game that is advertised to give me hundreds of hours of fun. Is issue 1 reworded? No. Issue 1 is it's forcing me to do something I don't want to do. Issue 3 is, listen, issue 3 is I'm gonna lose access to my account. And I'm not gonna be able to play it. All right. Is why you don't want to do it. Yeah, issue 1 is why I don't want to do it. Issue 3 is what's gonna happen. Submit request. No! I wrote 2 issues. I put 3, chat. Listen. Okay, this was on purpose, chat. Guys, I did this on purpose. Let me explain. Guys, let me explain. No. Time out. Let me explain. Okay, chat. Chat, please. Let's talk about this. Wait, time out. Can type 1 if you want to hear why I wrote 2 and then I put 3. Type 1 if you want to hear. I have a really good reason. Let him logic his way out of this. No, you can't put 2, chat. Chat, I have a very good reason. Oh, so you're afraid of the reason. You're actually afraid of hearing my reason. You refuse to listen because you know I'm right. There it is. Chat's actually cowards. You can't shame us. Give me 3 reasons. Give us either 1 or 3 reasons. All right. I'll give you a very good reason why I wrote 2 issues and put 3. It's because everybody knows Gaben can't count to 3. If I wrote 3 issues, right away they stop reading. Because when Gaben reads this and he hears 3 issues, he stops. I need to scam Gaben into reading 3 issues. That's why I went with 2. Because everybody knows, again, Gaben, he cannot count to 3. All right. Anyway, that is my refund request. We'll see if it goes through or not. Who knows? But we are set up for victory. What do you guys think of the whole PSN forced to make an account issue on Helldivers? And then when I hear what you guys think, I'll give you the actual take. I want to know why they force players into making PSN account to play their games while the game is on Steam. Isn't it obvious? Because on the next shareholder meeting, Sony can say, hey, look, we just had an extra 1 million people sign up to the PlayStation Network this quarter. And yeah, we're doing great. Oh yeah, our stocks are worth more now. Come on. Like, is that even a question? It's obvious why they want to do it. Sony wants to brag that they have people joining the PSN network. You can't understand why this outrage, to be honest. A lot of games require third-party authentication. Okay. I know that a lot of people have that take. I'll explain to you exactly why I think there deserves to be outrage. It is one thing. Listen, when I buy a game on Steam, I know for a fact. This is one of the reasons I love. Okay, if I could show you my refund history, in the last month, I have bought and refunded 4 games on Steam. Why? Because I downloaded them, tried them, immediately disliked them, refunded them. Why do I love Steam? Because they will give me my money back, no questions asked, if the game is not what I was hoping it was going to be. That means beautiful trailers can't scam me. Beautiful marketing can't scam me. None of that can scam me. If the game sucks, I refund. Now, if Helldivers came out, I click play for the first time and it says, you need a PlayStation Network account to play. Right there, I have a choice. Or I make one or I refund the game. I probably would have made one. Honestly, personally, I might have made one. But the thing is, you can't put out your game, have people play it, and then once the refund period runs out, introduce something people might not like. It's no longer a question of whether it's something I'm willing to do or not, or how easy it is to do it. It's the fact that you took my money first and then implemented it afterwards. You understand? It's unfair, it's morally wrong. So while I personally might make a PSN account, out of spite and for ethical reasons, and just to tell them, screw you, I'm not going to do it. Now, there's another argument. There's a lot of countries that cannot make an account because PSN is only available in certain countries, but that's besides the point. I think that's a decent argument for the people in those countries. You can also argue you have friends in those countries who you can't play with now, so the game is changing. But let's look at this. Imagine there is a game, I don't know, the Riot MMO comes out on Steam, and the game costs $100 to buy, and they have a $10 per month membership. Everybody buys it. 2 months in, they change it from $10 a month to $30 a month. I think if they did that like 2 months in, you would have a very good argument that I should be able to refund this game, even if you have hours into it, because that was not agreed upon. That was unfair. Or let's even go crazy. Imagine they raise it to $90 a month membership. You can't just like do these bait and switches, these rug pulls under people. It's unfair. After a long time, you can, but not right away. He used VPN and changes his PH to Singapore just so they can keep playing. Yeah, and that can get your PSN account banned, by the way. It's so stupid. Extra pay, basically. It's a third-party authentication, literally free. Sure, some countries will need a refund. Majority of players just want to hate something. I can still buy this new thing added after launch argument. You still can't buy it. So they sold you the game as one thing and then changed the game to another thing. Do you understand that, Legion? It's no longer what you paid for. If you don't want to do it, what is your option? They're saying you're not allowed to play. They sell you a game you're allowed to play, and then they tell you, oh, now that you've paid us, you're no longer allowed to play unless you go through these hoops. No, you tell me what hoops I have to go to before I pay the money, not after I pay the money. I buy Sea of Thieves. They add an expansion that adds 30 gigs of skins. It's no longer the game I bought. Expansion or patch? Just an addition. Okay, you buy Sea of Thieves. You play it for, let's say, a few weeks, and they drop a patch that changes the game in such a way that you can no longer play that game because you really dislike the game after that. You absolutely can put a good argument for why you want a refund. If they massively change the game with a 30 gigabyte patch, make everything look different, and it's no longer the same game you were playing, and you literally can't play the game because of it, yeah, if it's that bad, sure, you should be able to do a refund. Because you're forced to now play a game in a way that you never wanted to play it originally. Now, it's silly to say, well, they added one skin, the game's unplayable. That's unreasonable. But it is absolutely reasonable to say, listen, I don't want to make a count on the PSN. That's a reasonable thing to say. You're allowed to have that opinion. And you're allowed to say that's a game. Like, it's similar to people who don't want to play Valorant. They don't want to install Vanguard on their system. Well, that's a little bit more arguable. I think it's reasonable to say that it's just a third-party authentication for free. Not really. So, for example, if a game comes out, day one, I'm able to play it, and then let's say a few weeks in, the game says, hey, listen, if you want to keep playing our game, you have to give us your phone number for two-factor authentication. I think that should be grounds for recovering your account, for getting your money back. Because if you're not willing to give your phone number to a company, they're asking for something that you don't want to give away. Like, for example, yeah, it's a third-party authentication, but if you don't want to make it, I think you have the right to say no. You already give it to Steam? Yeah. That's my business with Steam. That's none of their business. That's not my business with them. What I do with Steam is none of PlayStation's business. Time is money, so making a PSN account costs me. And it's not just time is money. It's... If you want me to go through hoops to play a game, you have to put those hoops in the beginning when I'm paying my money. You have to present these things when you're asking for the money. Now, some people are saying it was presented in one way or another. I was never aware of it. Like, it might have been somewhere in like when you click accept, it might be somewhere around there. I don't know. But the fact remains, all those things aside, it's in the EULA. Listen, okay, let me make it very crystal clear. I'm not saying they're legally in the wrong. At all. I think they're legally fine. Legally speaking, I'm pretty sure they're absolutely allowed to do what they're doing. I'm not coming at this from a legal perspective. I'm coming at this from a... Is it scummy behavior? I think it is. It was listed as optional? Sure. I mean, generally speaking, I think they went around it the really bad way. If I was them, and I wanted to like bring people to the PSN, or the PlayStation Network, I would have put out a really cool skin, like, hey, there's a one-time skin available. In order to get it, you have to go on this, you have to sign up for the PSN for third-party authentication. If they did that, A lot of people would have signed up for the skin if the skin was really cool. It's easy to funnel people into your network, man. Be a little bit creative. Do something cool. Offer people something cool as a reward. Everyone will do it. You don't say, hey, if you don't do what we want, we're going to not let you play the game anymore. That's scummy. You only abide by the contract after buying it, not before. It's not just that. Some countries don't even have PSN service available, so if they bought the game, they can't play it without using some VPN to bypass. Correct. And those countries 100% should be allowed to get a refund. But that's not my point. Absolutely. I 100% agree. Those countries have every right to get a refund. Because now they literally have no legal way to play it. A lot of stuff in EULAs and contracts like that are unenforceable. That's true as well. Correct. It's just a crappy, like, I really don't care too much. I barely played Helldivers. But even if I played Helldivers a lot, I'd still feel annoyed by it. Would I refund it if I really loved the game? Probably not. But do I think people should have a right to refund it? Absolutely. I think they should. Because thankfully, I'm pretty sure Steam has the power to refund anybody they want for whatever reason they want. It is my guess that when a game... Okay, so I've never published on Steam, but I'm pretty sure Steam has some airtight contracts where it is at their discretion who they can refund. Am I wrong on this? I mean, I heavily doubt that Steam would give publishers that much power. I'm pretty sure Steam still wants things in their court. So if something happens, Steam can choose to refund after the fact. So it comes down to what Steam wants to do. Now, I don't know if Steam is going to allow refunds to happen. It would be cool if they did. I think Valve might try and talk to Sony about this. Quite possible. Yeah. I worked on a game release on Steam. We had no say in any of the refunds yet. You don't have a PS and you never will. Sony has so many hack attacks and data stolen, it's unreal. And then they force people to get a PSN on PC is bizarre. Look, again, if the game had just come out and one of the requirements was to make a PSN account, and I really wanted to play the game, you know what I would have done, chat? I would have made a PSN account. I would have made it, tried the game, and that's it. The fact is, they never gave me that option. They got me to get into the game. I already paid them money. I can no longer refund the game. And now they're saying, oh, and by the way, if you want to keep playing, new rule, you got to get a PSN account. No, that rubs me the wrong way. You never gave me a choice anymore. It's like, well, if you don't like it, well, you can just stop playing. You can't have your money back. No, that's bully behavior. It's not bizarre to ask people to make a separate account to connect to online servers. They do it to piggyback off a provider or online service and have to make an account for that provider. It means they're using PSN servers in some way. Okay. I agree with that. There's a lot of accounts I've made to play games. I've made games like on. I've made Epic Launcher account. I've made Bandai Namco account to play the Dragon Ball card game. I've made accounts before. There is no problem asking a person to make an account to play your game. The problem is selling them the game without that requirement and then piggybacking that requirement afterwards onto the conditions for playing the game and saying, if you don't do this now, you can no longer play. Especially shortly after release. Do you think that asking a PSN account on launch would stop anyone playing the game? Not really. No. Almost everybody would have played it and made the account and not complained. But that's because when you buy something, you're making a basic contract. I'm giving you money for that product. This is the amount of money I'm willing to give for the product you're going to give me. That's an exchange. The person then selling the product comes back a month later and says, hey, by the way, we want more. What do you mean? I already bought it. I already paid you what you want. No, we want something else. And if I don't give it to you, well, then you can't use our product anymore. That's the issue. You understand? It's not the same. The game blew up and they needed a larger provider of services, so they adapted their network code for PSN service. Could be. That's their problem, though. At the end of the day, that's their problem. If people should be given the option to refund. No, that doesn't mean everyone's going to refund. That's different if the game's been out for 3 years. The game has been out for 3 years, they're making some big changes for the game. At that point, it's unreasonable to ask for a refund. It is. That's just like a game that's dying. Like, imagine you played, I don't know, let's say you've been playing EVE Online your entire life, and EVE Online says, well, we're finally shutting down our servers next month. I want my money back. I only have 4,000 hours. No, it's not, there comes a point in time when it's unreasonable. I think the game is fresh enough where it's not unreasonable to ask for your money back. It's informed consent. Yes, correct. Absolutely, it is informed consent. Sure, that's a good way to put it. They might have had an in-house solution. When they expected 10K peak and bought multiple servers themselves, and suddenly after release, they have 500,000 players. People weren't able to log in. The servers were overcooked, but they've been paying a fortune in server costs. Okay. Well, at the end of the day, that's their problem. Again, that's not the customer's problem. Plus, they could have gone for like Amazon servers. They could have gone for. They chose to go for a server system where they have to make a PSN account. Yeah, it comes down to, okay, sure. If it comes down to reducing server costs, fine. Again, that's their problem, though. That's not my problem. How is that my problem as the player? If I didn't sign up for this, if that's not what I paid money for, is that my issue? Or is that their issue? Imagine they release refund now. Don't you think there's a good amount of players that just don't want to play the game anymore would ask for a refund? Yes. Even if PSN auth isn't a problem for them. Yes. Absolutely. But again, that's their problem. That's their problem. That's their problem to solve, right? You know what position? Okay, now you're looking at it from this is unfair to the devs. You know what position the devs should be in? The following. Okay, so we need new servers. PSN servers require the user to make a PSN account. That's unfair. Let's look for other servers we can get. All right, maybe we can do Amazon servers. Maybe we can do cloud gaming with Amazon servers. Or maybe we can go to another server option that doesn't require an account to be made. There. Easy. Solved. PSN servers are not the only servers in the world. There are other servers. Now, it's their fault. They made a mistake. They should have either opened with it or not required it. Online services we use allow us to log people in multiple other servers. They don't need to make an account. So they could have chosen a different solution. I mean, of course there were different solutions. Fact remains, it was not something that was required when the game first came out. And if that's the case, you can't just make it requirable shortly after. How long has Helldivers 2 been out? February. Yeah. Less than 3 months. You can't do that. Online services we use, yeah. My general point is that these days people are always anger hungry to hate on something. This is something that it's okay to not be okay with. The Helldivers community employee said, in now deleted tweet, they wanted to link a PS server to make it easier to ban people. Okay. And here, let me put one more thing out there. I think it's really, really damn good that people are complaining about this. And that people are rising in like unanimous support for the refunds, and people are giving mixed reviews and bad reviews. I think this is really good. You know why? Because if people were fine with this, all of a sudden every game development studio is going to say, "Hey, look, we can start adding stuff to our games in the future like this. We can start asking more and more of our players as much as we want." This is like, it's a slippery slope, and slippery slopes are absolutely real. You give a little bit, and the company sees profits, you're going to see a lot more of that little bit. Do you guys remember back in the day when microtransactions didn't exist? You guys remember those days? I do. I lived in a world where there was no such thing as a microtransaction. Good luck finding a game without them now. And look at the scale at which they're at. Look at the scale of microtransactions right now. Why? Because they realize they can get away with it. Oh, look, we can release a game that's fun, and then after 3 months say, oh, and by the way, if you want to keep playing our game, this is what you have to do. And we can start doing that more and more. Why not? Why not? You say you're fine with this one. What happens 10 years down the line? You release a game, oh my god, this game is amazing, but you put that in the future, if profits are not good, we might release a monthly sub. But the game doesn't come out with a monthly sub. People play the beautiful game for 3 months, get hooked. Oh, and by the way, now, we're releasing exclusive membership where you get all these benefits for paying $15 a month for our game. It came out for free. It came out with a box price, but now 3 months into it, there is exclusive gains. For $15 a month, you get this benefit. And now all of a sudden, to play the game fairly, you gotta pay $15 a month. That's the next step. Yeah, I don't like saying that we as gamers are okay with giving in to these kinds of requests after paying the money. No, you give me the full information before I pay the money. And by full information, I mean that when the game comes out, if I'm able to play it in a way I like to play it, I should be able to continue to play it the way I like to play it. Devs added something that players agreed on at the beginning. Paku, I agree with you 100%. Legally speaking, they're in the right. Legally speaking, Sony is not breaking any laws. No laws were broken here. They have every legal right to implement that. And I would argue in the same way, it's scummy behavior. And I think Steam should say, yeah, we also agree it's scummy behavior. Look, you feel free to do it, but we're going to give people the option to refund the game if they don't like it. That's what I think. A lot of legal things are immoral and are incorrect. Correct. Now, obviously, if it was up to Sony, they'd never give refunds. Why? Because they have nothing to gain and only money to lose. But it's not up to them, it's up to Steam. Steam is the one holding the money. So Steam could theoretically say, hey, we're going to give refunds. And if people want a refund, let them refund. For me, I linked the PSN account from the start. Then they have to require it for the first 2 days of launch. That's how it should be. If the game first came out requiring a PSN Connect, they wouldn't have this issue. Why? Because they gave us informed, like they informed us of what the requirements were at launch, and either we said yes or no, right? You give the person with the money the information. I'm not saying they're legally wrong. I'm saying it's crappy behavior. I think it's not something I'm okay with. And I don't think people should be okay with it in general. I think it's okay to say, I'm willing to do this, no big deal, fine, let me make a PSN account, I'll move on with my life. That's a fine take, but I think you should still believe that for people who are not okay with it, they should be able to get a refund. I don't think that's crazy to say. Listen, if I was actively playing Helldivers 2 and I wanted to play more and more and more right now, I wouldn't even ask for a refund, I would make a PSN account. But that should be up to me, right? I should be allowed to choose there. You think there should be laws protecting customers from this? It's hard to do because you can put so many things into the user terms of service and whatever that like make exceptions. It's hard to make those kinds of laws happen. People just click accept without reading, right? That's the problem. I think in this case, like Steam is the actual judge and jury, which I kind of like because they're unbiased. Well, at least they're not as biased as the actual devs of the game. Obviously, the devs of the game are going to say we're in the right. We're not going to give any money back because, well, they would just lose a lot of money. But Steam tends to bias towards consumers very often. Now, I could absolutely see Steam saying, "Look, we can't give refunds. It is what it is." But it would be cool if they said, "Listen, refunds for all." That would be awesome, and we can make some memes with Gabe, like with his little scepters. You know, refund to you, like maybe a Keanu Reeves meme. You get a refund. Don't buy games from dodgy devs. The problem is, even the best devs, once they're no longer this small dev company, once they get big and kind of grow, they also become a little bit worse. It's very hard to maintain purity as a development company. It's very hard to hold on to those ideals when you see the money pouring in. And all of a sudden, your passion project is finished and done with. You've made your passion project. Like, you start off with like 4 guys in a garage making their passion project, and it's a beautiful thing. They're so excited. They have everything behind it. And then their project succeeds, and they go from 4 guys in a garage to having 15,000 employees. There comes a point where you just lose passion for it. You've already done what you wanted times 1,000. At this point, you kind of lose interest. Like, well, now what? I'm kind of done with this. I've done everything I wanted to do and way more. What now? And then it gets really easy to think about, well, I just bought my 200-foot yacht and I have my house in Malibu, and wherever, I don't know. I have a 2 vacation homes, one in Italy and one in Hawaii. And yeah, this is a great lifestyle because my net worth is $2 billion. But you know what would be really cool? $10 billion. Because then not only could I do that, I could also have my own private space shuttle. And if I wanted, I could make a nuclear bunker in case there's a nuclear war. That would cost me like $1 billion if I want to make it like, and then, you know, and you start thinking of really stupid things. And all you would need to do to go from 2 billion to 10 billion is be a little bit greedy in your company. It would just require just a little bit more greed, just to ask a little bit more from your people. In a company that you no longer really care as much as you did before, it's really easy just to press the button, fine, monetize. And nonstop you have people saying, listen, Bill, I know we said we wouldn't, but we could increase profits by 400%, Bill. And you've been saying no for 5 years. No, of course not. That's not what we do, Jack. But Jack says, Bill, times are different now, Bill. We're no longer the same men we were back in the day, Bill, my daughter wants her own yacht. Bill, I got a yacht, but my daughter says that she wants her own. Her friends from Dubai have their own yachts, and she wants one too. I regret selling most of my stocks. I'm not as rich as you, Bill. I can only afford 3 vacation homes, Bill. And then Bill feels bad because Jack, he did sell some of his stock. You know, Bill still has 14% of the company. Jack is down. He only has 2. And you want Jack to live happily. You can't have Jack actually, like, it's unethical to have your friends renting private jets instead of owning private jets. That's not the kind of life you want your friends to live. So you say, fine, you know what? You're right, Jack. In the long run, this is the right move. And we held out longer than most people would have. And then, well, that's how things go.